Welcome to episode 88 of the Sports Marketing Machine podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Nizer. Today, I sit down with Tom Bridger from WIT Contests. What is WIT Contest? WIT Contests help sports teams of all sizes drive more revenue through digital experiences. This could be collecting more leads. This could be increasing your fan experience through some sort of contest or game, and also activating sponsorship. So they really help sports teams make more money, drive up fan engagement, and collect more leads. Today, we're going to dive into a bunch of different things. What does this mean from fan engagement perspective? How has WIT kind of helped teams make more money? What does the future hold for fan engagement in sports? And so much more. So without further delay, let's get right to it with Tom from WIT Contests. Tom, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Yeah, super excited to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
So, WIT Contest, for those who don't know, can you give us a quick overview what it is, how the platform works, capabilities?
Yeah, so WIT's the leading digital activation platform in sports. We work with over 110 teams. We work with like the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB league offices. And really what we do is we arm teams big and small with, over 30 new digital activation assets that they can use to drive on average 3 to 5 times more leads than your average, form static form, generating a ton of incremental revenue from corporate partners and selling these assets to them. And then obviously fan engagement. So how can we kind of keep these activations fresh and exciting, give them a reason to come back over and over again with these new activation types? And then all of these activations are going to collect data. So whatever data you're looking to collect from your fans, whether it's, something simple, first name, last name, email, phone number, maybe it's opt-ins for you and your partners, maybe it's the drop down of like, have you ever attended one of our games before? Like, who do you usually attend games with? Any insights that you're looking to collect, we're going to be able to facilitate that so that you can, drive more leads, understand your fans more, which helps you sell more to partners and really just be that ROI positive platform for our partners.
So before teams start thinking this is like Google Forms on steroids, though this is a completely different, we're in a different world here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is a lot more about contest
Mhm.
and gamifying the fan experience. Am I right?
Yeah. So it's all about gamification. Like, you can run a sweepstakes, a big form, great. You'll probably get 30% of people who land on there actually enter, whereas we see it's more like the 60-70% of fans are entering once they land on the page. And that's due to the gamification, especially with these like instant win ones where we have 7 or 8 in that category, where within 5-6 seconds, a fan can win something, feel ownership over that, and then act on it, whether it's 15% off your team store, a discounted ticket, entering into a sweepstakes with a partner where I can then opt into that partner. That's kind of the exchange of value we're giving is, hey, you provide us with a little bit of data and you're going to get this gamified, fun, engaging experience that's going to, keep you a fan, whether it's you're riding a high in the season or maybe it's like, hey, we need to really give our fans something back. There's really a fit for any team.
Well, let's talk through kind of some examples. So if you're open to sharing, you don't have to necessarily share the team if you're not
Mhm.
comfortable, but let's talk about some unique fan experience, fan engagement opportunities that you saw have really took off using WIT.
Yeah, well, I think one of the really greatest things about WIT is our service team. So we actually build all these activations for you. So it's not like you have to go in, spend hours doing this, learning the platform. Hey, I've got 30 minutes to do this. I wish I had an hour to really make it beautiful and design. We handle all that for you with a less than 24-hour turnaround time. So that's really important because, in sports, you want to be able to take advantage of these timely moments. There's no good in a big player signs, a big milestone hits, and like a week and a half later you release something about it. That's no good. So some of the ones that are top of mind for me are like when a big moment happens. So there was one, this would have been like a year and a half ago now, when Kevin Durant got traded to the Suns. We had a jersey toss activation in their inbox the next morning to run, and that was a great example of, taking advantage of the moment. I think they were giving away like 15 Durant jerseys, and then all the loser kind of consolation prize was 15% off their team store. And they were able to drive tens of thousands in revenue just off of a Fanatics coupon that any fan could kind of find online, most likely. But because they took advantage of this big moment, it created this, revenue driving opportunity, getting the fans excited, and then, really Also, there's a partner involved, so it's kind of a win-win-win, and that's what we're all about.
Yep. So great opportunities to get sponsors involved. Is there some great case studies or some examples that you have that got the sponsors involved, help teams make lots of money, everyone wins?
Mm-hmm. So one of the ones that definitely sticks out is prize wheel we ran with Taco Bell and the Browns last year.
Mhm.
So the Browns did an awesome job of promoting this. They promoted it across their social channels. With WIT, you can promote these wherever you want, whether it's in person via QR, through your app, socials, email, in iframe on your website, and they ran this prize wheel at Taco Bell. They even did like a TV spot for it, and fans could win different prizes from Taco Bell, from the Browns. And they drove just under 300,000 entries off of this and
Holy smokes.
75,000 partner opt ins for promotions from Taco Bell. And then, even more importantly, participating locations saw a 2.5 times sales lift versus the locations that didn't participate. So that's how you go to a partner, that's going to help you drive another six figures in your next partnership deal. And we also a great example of, hey, maybe we're not the Cleveland Browns, we're a much smaller entity. Spokane Velocity, who are a USL One League team, who are a new partner of ours, they'd never even played a game before. Inaugural season, they sold one of our scratch off activations to 10 local mom and pop kind of restaurants and stores, and they drove six figures off of a single activation. So it's pretty remarkable what the revenue we're able to drive for partners. And this is probably the most salesy thing I'll say today, but we do boast an 100% renewal rate with our partners. And that is in large part because one, our sales team our service team is awesome. And then two, because they're all ROI positive. So why leave when you can keep driving more revenue, more leads, more data collection, which just again kind of is this flywheel effect and just keeps your marketing and your sponsorship kind of humming along.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's where I see a lot of teams is sure, we've got outfield signage or we've got
Mhm.
signage around or LEDs, but they want to have some sort of activation that
Mhm.
number one drives people back into their store, their shop, whatever it is, but increase impressions. Sure, we could all run meta ads to get impressions, but what else could we do? I
Mhm.
think WIT is that Swiss Army knife where you could bring in and say, okay, I've got a sponsor that wants to do this. Let's get them engaged and create an excitement around what's happening with the team, either if it's a
Exactly.
fireworks game or a football, right?
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
kind of putting all these three together, and it's a win-win-win for everyone.
Yep. And that actually reminds me of another note. It's like, okay, how does this actually drive like future ticket sales, let's say? So we've done a lot of activations with team where it's like, our season's about to start. Here are our like 10 theme nights that are coming up that might be something that caters to like your kids. It might be something that caters to you, or like a nostalgic play where it's like, hey, we're doing our 70s night or our 80s night from like, wear your best jersey. Those are great ones where in like a vote to win activation with us, a fan comes in and says, hey, these are the three games I'm most interested in. Well, bam, now your sales team has these really high quality leads of like, hey, Jeremy has, two young daughters and we're doing, Disney night. Okay, well, yeah, let's definitely hit up Jeremy and ensure that he knows that he can come to this game. Maybe there's a discounted ticket for him. And again, that's driving that fan that may not have even known about, this theme night or getting their kids involved, things like that, and drives them into your location, buying merch, buying tickets, etc.
Yeah, I love it. And you hit on the nail on the head about the fan engagement side of things. So you've seen fan engagement kind of evolve a little bit as
Mm-hmm.
technology has
Mm-hmm.
advanced. How does WIT help teams keep up with these changes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting. Going back to like 2020, after COVID, there was, this huge panic of like, what do we do with all our physical activations, our signage, our in-venue stuff? Everything had to move to digital. So, you know, WIT was able to take advantage of that. We have all these digital assets that you can now, a lot of it was make goods for partners. And then partners have become more savvy and realized, well, this is actually a lot better for us than just this static signage that maybe someone sees. Maybe they remember when they're choosing their next auto insurance, they're going to use, or travel partner, whatever it might be. So I think that's been a big evolution in the sports world of like, one, fans now expect this, so you need to have some sort of digital element. Partners absolutely want it for their lead generation to make it a more engaging experience to kind of drive that brand affinity from your favorite team over to that partner they now have. And then the next kind of thing that WIT does to stay on top of this is, because we have these 30 plus different assets to use, there's never a time when you're like, I don't really have a great endemic fit for this partner. We're going to have that, whether it's, a new partner in the space, new verticals. That's another kind of big evolution we've seen. We see crypto, gaming, gambling, casino, CBD even, like we have activated for all of them because we have some sort of fit to keep it, on brand, keep it exciting, and then be able to facilitate that, long-term relationship with that fan, whether it's from the team side or from the partner side.
I love it. You're getting fans involved. You're making sponsors happy. You're
Mhm.
helping them solve the problems that they have. So
Mhm.
everyone wins. Now you've seen that data that you were just talking about, Jeremy. Two kids interested in doing Princess Night, Disney
Mhm.
fans, what have you, which is exactly spot on, by the way, of our house. How do you see teams convert those contest participants into paying customers? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we'll set up like integrations directly into, whatever CRM you're using so that that ingestion of leads is instantaneous. So again, you run this activation for 3 days, 4 days a week. As soon as it ends or while it's going on, you're going to have someone contacting you or potentially seeing if you're interested in the game. There was an example a while back with the Cleveland Cavaliers where it was a similar kind of like vote on your before the season, like vote on your favorite players you want to see upcoming. Like we're playing the Lakers on October 30th. We're playing and you want to see LeBron, you want to see Ja Morant on Memphis. I took part in one of those, just testing it out, and like a week later, I'm walking my dog and I get a call from it's like a Cleveland phone number, and I live in Victoria, Canada. I'm the one Canadian on the WIT team, so. I get a call from a sales guy in Cleveland and be like, Tom, like, are you excited to come see us play, the Lakers on October 30th? Like, can we find a way to get you some seats? Like, what do you need? And it's that really instantaneous ability where it's like, I did this 48 hours ago, 24 hours ago, and already it's like, how can we get you to come, watch LeBron or watch, Ja Morant play? So that was a really cool example and a real world example that happened to me. And, I am a little bit removed from in Victoria, BC. There's no, major league teams, but I am excited because a lot of my favorite teams do work with WIT. So I get that kind of instant feedback, whether it's merch, tickets, content, contests coming into my inbox, getting notifications in my app, seeing it on social. And it's very exciting for like me as a fan to be able to take part in those as well.
So what do you do with teams that are already selling out? They're using WIT to just
Mhm.
continue to keep the momentum, and they're selling
Mhm.
some merchandise, and they're doing some exciting things. How do you work with teams that are just basically kicking butt and
Yeah.
selling out season tickets all the time?
Yeah, I mean it's a great question, and it was one we see consistently in the NFL. NFL teams limited schedule, they're gonna sell out, so it's like how can we provide additional value, and that's a lot where it comes into partnerships in venue experiences they might have through a digital component with us. We're just gonna be able to build that brand affinity. Maybe it is something towards like fan appreciation where hey, like we're not doing the best on the field, but we want to make sure you're taken care of because we're going to turn this thing around. And when we do, you obviously want to have as many leads as possible, not just for filling your stadium, but how do we understand like who's our more premium client? Who could we sell a suite to? Who could we sell premium tickets to, season tickets to? And that's what we'll help do. And another thing on that kind of note is, how can we incentivize people to become season ticket holders? So we see a lot of teams we work with who will give exclusive activations to just their season ticket holders, where they can get exclusive offers from partners, from the team, etc. So that's how we can kind of again bake in a bit of exclusivity into some of these season ticket offers, suite offers, things like that, to really even a team who's selling out, how can we still help drive that incremental revenue on top of your sold out arena?
Got it. So if a team comes to you and says, "All right, I like the sound of this. We've been using Google Forms and
Mhm.
Survey Monkeys and some of these other different things to be able to collect data, and we
Yep.
feel like making this jump to WIT sounds awesome, and having it gamified, this would be great."
Mhm.
When you meet with them and they're not too sure about, well, what information should I be collecting? At the very least, we're getting name, email, phone number. Is there
Mhm.
other things that you recommend when you sit down with teams as they start to try to collect data? What other information that they could be looking for, and kind of going down that rabbit hole to really help them get the most out of it from a ticket sales perspective?
Yeah, and that's where like our expertise really comes into play because we've run thousands of activations with our partners. We work with hundreds of partners, so it's like we have a tried and true method of like what works. So we can look back at similar teams, similar leagues, and say, hey, how can we kind of facilitate this for you and ensure that this is going to work for you? And we actually have an exciting new product as well called Fan AI, which essentially does progressive profiling for fans. So instead of hoping some fan is going to complete some 70 question survey at the end of the year, which you might get 10-15% of your fans to do. With our progressive profiling, you'll have your standard form fields. Maybe it's first name, last name, email, zip code or phone number. And then with our fan AI, it'll understand each fan that they've interacted with in the past and serve them a unique question each time.
Hmm.
So I fill out my standard form fields, and then it's like, how many games of a year do you attend, or where do you like to watch games from? So again, you're serving up these survey like questions organically and in a kind of set order as the fan does 5, 10, 15, 20 activations with you for the year. And then again, at the end of the year, you're not dependent on some survey. You've got all of these questions you were looking to answer, questions your partners might want to know, your sales team, your marketing team, to kind of fill out that fan profile. And then we can do things like, hey, I know Jeremy is a father with 2 daughters. Let's find everyone else who's similar and hit them with this exclusive offer, because we now have collected all this information over time with progressive profiling or through just our form fields. And then you can be much more kind of targeted with your outreach rather than casting that wide net and, catching a bunch of bycatch. I'm going to catch the exact fish I want and be able to drive that sale at a much higher percentage.
This, from a ticket selling perspective, right now I see a lot of data from sports teams. Email is your number one ROI. So
Mm-hmm.
you cost 2 grand for constant contact, or 5 grand, whatever it is, specifically on the smaller side. And they're getting 20 grand, 25, 30 grand in ticket sales. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, this is the best ROI that we have. We could run Facebook ads, meta ads, all these things all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So what we're saying is, oftentimes you just take all of your single game buyers and you put them in a bucket and you send out the email and just hope that they're interested and available on that Friday, right?
Right.
Whereas what you do now is, I got a segmented list of families who have 2 little girls at home, and I've got this princess night or bluey night or whatever it is. I got a list now. I could call them or put them in there and send a specific targeted message just to them,
Exactly.
because they've
Exactly.
raised their hand and shared based on being a part of these games. Is that kind of where we're going?
Exactly. And then the other thing is like, hey, we know our existing email list. Let's use WIT to grow that
Mm-hmm.
20%, 30% during the year. And because we can promote our activations really across any digital or physical channel, that's where you're always going to be driving new, unique leads. Again, with our integrations into CRMs, able to understand what's net new. And then, each team will have an understanding of what price they can allocate to each net new fan. So the math very easily adds up to, hey, this is going to make us a lot of money. And again, that's without thinking about the partnership aspect, the brand affinity, the merchandise sales, things like that. So again, that's why we are really like an ROI center for teams, big and small, and that's why we are really the leader in the space at the moment.
Do you see, before I ask you a question about kind of what's next here, but do you see more teams come to you and say, hey, we want to grow our leads, or hey, we're trying to find new ideas for our sponsors? What's typically the first thing when they come knocking on your door that you guys start having conversations? What is their goals initially when they come to you?
Yeah, it really varies by league. So you talk about the NFL, that's a lot more less lead generation, more sponsorship, more fan engagement. NHL is we work with over half the NHL, half the NFL. So NHL does a really good job on partnership activation as well, and how can they kind of drive the revenue there. So it really does vary league to league. And again, we're now working in AAA baseball, minor league soccer, minor league hockey, things like that. And that's where the lead gen is obviously huge. And hey, if we can get a partner to pay for it, like a lot of times, and this is a great service as well that WIT provides, is if I'm just talking to you and you're like, we love this, but we need a partner to get on board, can you mock up 5, 6 examples for these partners? And if one says yes, then we're good to go here. That's something that we'll provide as well. There's no cost associated with it. Our service team is so amazing, and the platform is very turnkey to use for our team. And even if a team wanted to use it on their own, that we can spin these up in less than an hour, have them in your inbox, and then you're kind of off to the races. So again, it's not a one size fits all experience. We really can cater this and customize it based on the data they're looking to collect, the initiatives they're looking to drive. And then we'll kind of plan out their entire season of like, here are the big tent pole moments we want to hit on. Obviously, like we talked about, we can be dynamic and nimble, and this big player just signed, or this
Mhm.
retirement is happening, or we have this huge event that's going on. So we're always there and kind of ready to help however we can, whether you're a partner or like a prospective partner that just is like, we just need to sell this to one partner and then we're on board.
Yep, I think that's so great. Those when you create a deck and you're doing some sort of pitch to a sponsor, you've got that in there. You can actually show
Huge.
them what it
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah.
without them trying to conceptualize. Like it's better to show and allow them to kind of see. And I love the fact you guys don't charge for that. You just, hey, happy to help. You're
Hmm.
trying to go find a sponsor. Do you have teams that come to you that say, hey, I've got a sponsor. I'm trying to come up with something for, and you can kind
Oh
of
yeah.
brainstorm a little bit?
Yeah, I literally just got an inbound lead yesterday of like, hey, we're working with, Shell. We want an activation on site. How can we kind of, here's our, KPIs, here's theirs. What are the best examples? Can you mock some stuff up for us? And again, we'll get that in your inbox same day. And, another thing that I wanted to note is because our team builds the activations for you, they're always going to look, feel, perform in a world-class way. Whether you're again like minor league baseball or, the biggest NFL team, or like we just had an activation on NHL.com that got like over 35,000 entries that was, iframed on their website. So big or small, we're going to be able to service you and allow you to kind of elevate that fan experience where a fan might be like, oh damn, like this is really nice, like
Hmm.
they're stepping up. So I even have calls with like CHL teams who are like, we've got a great partner, we want to run this, mock some stuff up for us, and then other teams are like, hey, I want to do what they're doing, and then the kind of inbounds come in because yeah, these are, and I know you'll share some links kind of afterwards, but these are the most premium look and feel you can get because there's no, like I kind of previously mentioned, I had 20 minutes to build this. I could have made it really beautiful with 2 hours or a bigger design team or, whatever it might be. Whereas we'll handle all that for you so you can, you know, have these world class activations no matter the size of your organization.
Yeah, I think that's such a great opportunity for teams to be able to come to you and say, "Hey, I've got a brand, I got a sponsor that's interested in being involved.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want your typical things. What else could we do?" And they're looking to drive some leads. So I think I love it. You hit on so many things here. You got NFL, you've got minor league hockey and hockey in general. You've got all these different sports. What do you think the future of digital fan engagement? Where is it going?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think it looks a number of different ways. I mean, what's really cool is we see new leagues popping up every day. So that's like our bread and butter. It's like, hey, we're a brand new league. How can we from the get go drive a ton of data collection and leads from our fans, and then really boost up our kind of partnership portfolio. So that's always an interesting one. And I think one of the big questions that a lot of teams have, and is going to be a big question that every team has, is like, how do we tie this into loyalty? How can we tie this into like loyalty points, or somewhere where the more a fan interacts with me, the better, you know, experience or the better pricing, whatever it might be for them. So that's something that we're kind of looking into as well. And how can we kind of integrate there? I think fan AI is another big part of that. Like, how can we more creatively ask these questions to fans that's going to drive a lot of insight and value for the team. So between, loyalty, using AI for things like this, and then new leagues and categories popping up. There's always exciting stuff happening in the sports world. And with our Eng team, we're very nimble and able to kind of act quickly, create new activation types that might fit these new leagues or new partners. And so we're always happy to work with teams. And even if you're like, hey, we have this totally out of the box idea and we've got some money to put behind it, like, could you build this out custom for us? That's something we're always interested in exploring as well.
Yeah, I love it. Specifically on the loyalty side, the topic of season tickets. Season
Hmm.
tickets in a lot of sports industries, the numbers, scan rates are going down. The number of season ticket orders are going down because people just have a lot more things to do. I
Yeah.
mean, we're a family of four. We have something all the time. There's no chance in the world we would ever get season tickets.
Hmm.
But it's understanding that if someone has season tickets, how do we get them to use it? And I think that the loyalty side, there's an idea somewhere in there between WIT and the data that they're collecting to be able to encourage season ticket holders either give your tickets away or use them or what have you, and try to prioritize the team versus the team. Well, I got tickets this Friday, also have a whatever it is. Like, figuring out a way to improve the loyalty using WIT, I think that would be super helpful for sure. Have you seen some teams kind of use that on the season ticket mini plan side? I hate to put you on the spot here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm still fairly new to it. I started back in July, so we're certainly seeing it. And again, like what I kind of previously mentioned is a little bit outside of loyalty, but like, how can we incentivize that fan to
Mm-hmm.
become a season ticket holder? What's that extra bells and whistles we can kind of add from an activation perspective that makes them feel even more valued, feel like they're getting a great, return on their investment here. So it's a lot of things like that, and surprise and delight. Hey, you're getting this VIP experience today. You're going to get to go down on the field. You're going to get to meet the players, etc. Or like you're entered in for this sweepstakes for you might be a season ticket holder, but now you're going to get a suite and you can invite 15 of your friends and it's going to be catered. And so there's a lot of ways that we can kind of drive loyalty that way, but there's more stuff kind of coming down the pipe from a more digital perspective. How can we work in tandem either with like a loyalty vendor to drive that? Because it is kind of like a missing piece in sports. I don't think anyone is doing it incredibly well at the moment. So I see it as a great like opportunity and something that we're certainly looking at as a way to make us even stickier going forward.
Yep, I love it. I love it. You've mentioned some big teams. You mentioned the Browns. You mentioned the NHL. What
Mhm.
does this look like for a smaller team? Because there's some smaller hockey teams. I can think Florida Everblades, and they're
Yep.
basically selling out almost every single game. But what
Mhm.
about a team that's averaging 3 to 5 thousand fans a game? They're not selling out. They're like 70% capacity. Does this make sense to them? Does it not? Like, what do you do with smaller market teams that maybe have a smaller staff but are just trying to get more leads and sell more tickets and get more sponsors involved?
Yeah, and it comes back to like how can we as a small team make ourselves look and feel like a big team? And that's really where WIT comes in, because again, you might have a two-person marketing team where it's like I can't have a coordinator working on these beautiful digital activations for 3, 4, 5 hours a week. That's where again we can handle that. We can, and when you present it to a sponsor or a fan, they're like, "Oh, wow, like this is really impressive." And you might be a CHL team or a single A baseball team, but it's like if I can present these to our fans and our partners, that's where again you just need one or two to buy in and then you're going to
Yep.
be ROI positive. So it really is an easy sell. It makes my job very easy because this is such a turnkey platform that it might be a 3 or 4 month sales cycle where I'm sending you 10 mock-ups for you to send to partners, but all it takes is one to get on board, and then hey, we've covered our cost on WIT, and now all the lead generation, further partnership activation, upsells is all just kind of gravy on top. So I really don't believe there are a lot of leagues that are too small to work with us. Again, I won't mention names just because some of these are in development right now, but some of these brand new leagues that are new sports to North America, even where they are seeing a ton of value in this, and they're like, this is how we can go from a crawl to a sprint within really 3 or 4 months rather than doing it on our own. Which, yes, there's going to be a cost associated with working with us, but you sell it to a partner, you're good to go. And then you get the extension of like our 10, 12, 15 person service team that now, hey, our marketing team isn't 2 people now it's 10.
Yep.
So that's how it's a huge benefit to these smaller teams. And it is once you get that first partner in, your president, your CEO, your COO, whoever it is going to be like, hey, let's keep at this. Let's keep
Hmm.
selling this. Let's keep using this. And it's a huge win for them because again, they get to scale up everything they're doing from a digital perspective. They drive more revenue and they kind of put themselves in that upper tier. Like I was just talking to a AAA baseball team earlier or last week, and they were kind of saying, hey, like we do really well with our fans. We sell out consistently or like close to. We have great partnership assets, and like we've had access to another kind of fan engagement vendor, but this stuff is much more premium and we feel like we can really take advantage of this. So whether it's sending over mock-ups, talking to their sales team, their partnerships team, there are a lot of teams who either feel like, hey, we can take this to the next level and we're willing to put that a little additional investment into this, or teams that are like, we want to get to that next level. Let's put a little investment here and get ourselves from a middling lower team that maybe isn't viewed in the best light to wow, they're actually doing some really innovative stuff across fan engagement, partnerships, marketing, ticket sales, etc.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head specifically for these newer leagues and newer teams. They need to build a database of people that
Mm-hmm.
would be interested in buying tickets. And a
Mm-hmm.
fast way to do that isn't just whipping up a Google form and hoping for enter to wins. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's just base level. If you weren't doing that, like that's number one. You should be going out there trying to collect databases.
Yeah.
But if you're really looking to supercharge it and try to start off on the right foot, wits makes sense because you have the ability to make it look nice,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, but it's also get sponsors involved, but it's gamified. It's not just like, well, I got to fill in all this information for my chance to win. Like when you're out doing that. So with your partnership with teams, it's not typically like a one-off thing, is it? It's like annual thing and you a few different games. What does that look like if you don't mind too far
Yeah.
down the road?
Yeah, no, of course. So we typically work under like an annual subscription where you can run as many of these activations as you want throughout the year. So again, there's no ask that's too big from our end. There's no like, oh, we've already run so many activations, like we don't want to burden them. No, like there's an NHL team who ran 150 activations with us last year. So, if I'm a fan, that's every second day, basically, I'm getting some sort of new gamified activation I can take part in to either get me into the stadium, buying merch, get me excited about something. So, you know, under this unlimited plan, the sky's the limit. And again, we're not going to put the burden of you of like, okay, now we've got all these assets. What do we do with them? That's where we'll kind of set up like a content calendar for you for the year to be like, here's all the tentpole moments that we want to activate around. Here's, the timing. Hey, it's preseason. What can we do? It's during season. Hey, postseason. Let's run a bracket activation of like our best plays of the year or like best play calls, whatever it might be, to really solidify the expectation from a fan. Like there was an activation we ran with the Calgary Flames, which won best ticketing initiative at the NHL business meetings, called Scratchy Tuesdays, where every Tuesdays fans would get, whether it's in-app, email, social, the opportunity to do a scratch off to win, either discounts on merch, discounts on tickets, both from like the Flames as well as their AHL affiliate, their lacrosse affiliate as well. So how can we kind of drive that consistency and expectation from a fan so that they know what to expect? They're excited for it. And it's like, hey, it's Tuesday. Let me go check my email. Yep, there's the Scratchy Tuesday offer. Hey, kids, we're going to, the game next Saturday. Or, hey, the Flames know it might be a slower game versus a maybe not the best opponent on a Thursday night. How can we ensure that we're sold out and that fans are excited about this opportunity? So it's about, using these activations as much as you can to really drive that, incremental value again and again.
Fantastic. Well, I love this. I love what WIT is doing to be able to help teams get more leads, activate more sponsors, and get more people to their games, sell more merchandise, and so forth. So this is just great. So if teams are interested, they can reach out to you. I'll put your email and a link to the WIT, and then the other content that you give me, I'm going to put links in there so teams can actually see what it looks like for fans to be able to be engaged. If a team's interested, could they reach out to you and just to have some conversation, just kind of kick the tires and just have some things? But you got a special offer, right?
Yeah, so if you kind of mentioned that you heard the podcast, you came from there, we're happy to offer $500 off on your first year of your annual subscription. So we're more than happy, if you're a big small team, let's chat. We're happy to mock some stuff up for you to present internally, present to partners, because like we kind of mentioned, it's just going to take one partner likely to get on board, and that's going to kind of pay for the platform. So yeah, absolutely. Come my way. We would love to chat with you. There's no ask that's too big. If you've got this grand idea that you've always wanted to do but haven't had the capabilities of, we're really excited to help you make that happen.
Sounds good. Well, Tom, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, talking all about gamifying the fan engagement. We're increasing fan experiences. We're getting more people to games. We're selling more merchandise. We're activating sponsors. Like, these are the things that teams are all trying to do at every single level, from the top at the biggest levels all the way down to your smallest professional or even semi-professional teams as well. So keep getting after it and keep working hard, because this is just awesome. And just like you said, like the evolution and how it's going to continue to change. So it's just going to get better and better for the fans and better for teams.
Yeah, the future's here. Let's take advantage of it now and start driving this value kind of across your business. So thank you, Jeremy, so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to chat WIT, and WIT's very easy platform to sell. The service team makes my life very easy, and excited to have conversations with anyone who's interested.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.